I'm Johnny B, and welcome to MISD Sports Talk as we come down the home stretch of Sports Talk and we take a look at track and field. And we start with the Broncos from McKinney Boyd with Coach Johnson and Coach Keahey with us. And Laura, I'll start with you. Going into this season, what was the expectations for the girls program?
We knew we were changing districts. It was going to be a 9-team district instead of 6. So we knew the level of difficulty was going to go up. We knew the teams in our district were going to be even better than previous years. So there was a lot to prepare for, but we also had a couple of really great seniors providing a lot of leadership, and we had some girls that produced on the JV level last year that we knew were doing some really good things, and we're going to be able to move up to the varsity level. So we knew we would be better. We just didn't know where that would fit with the new district.
Coach Johnson, how about you?
Well, it's the same thing to add what Coach Keahey said. The most important thing with us is it wasn't worrying about what other teams was going to do. It was more about continue to build on the previous year and build that relationship that, you know, we rely on our core values, relationship. And if we get each and every one to buy in, and we knew that we could do a lot of great things. And we had to paint the picture for a lot of the guys and girls that we actually have. And, I mean, and they just fade off one another. They loved on one another. And I knew at the end of the day, if we could continue to do that, that we was going to have a successful season.
You have to build really because there's individual things and there's team things. How much factor of trust between the people in your team, how much of a factor is that I have to trust that everybody's doing what they need to do?
It's a big factor. We know that our athletes understand the team concept. We talk about that. It's not just an individual sport. So they understand that we have to make decisions based weekly, really, on who's the fastest to put on the track that week. And our girls and boys did really well with making adjustments and sometimes being moved around. And we really didn't have any team conflict because of that. And I think that was because of the trust and the relationships that Coach talked about.
Coach Johnson, what do you look for in a track performer?
The most important thing for me is getting the athletes to buy in, to ask them, first of all, get to know what they like, what they enjoy, myself build the relationship so they can trust in me. And for us, the athlete itself, I'm looking for a character, and I think that plays a lot of role. They play a major role in understanding where they can go. And we're trying to get as much as we can to teach them, educate them, and learn. And, if they could do all that, I think they could be successful.
It was a great year for MISD when we got to the States. Let's talk a little bit about Boyd and on the girls' side.
Yeah. We did really well. This was our best team finish in school history. Leah Miller won both of her events, so that gave us 20 points right there. And then our girls 4x4 finished 5th, which gave us another 4. And so out of all the 6A schools in the state, we tied for 5th. And we were dealing with some schools that had a lot bigger numbers on their squads than we did. But, like Coach said, we may not always have the quantity, but because of the relationships and the buy-in factor, I think we're producing a lot of quality on the track.
And Leah Miller's a repeat medalist. I mean, she's just starting to own her events, and you got her back for next year.
Yes, we do, and we're very excited about that.
What about the guys' side as far as states went, Coach Johnson?
Well, Rayco Swart was our only qualifier. I mean, this guy, we could talk all day about this guy. He's a leader, and this is actually his 3rd year competing in any sports. And, I mean, he's a guy that he had made other guys flourish around him. I mean, he's an ambassador in any program. And, man, this guy is just unbelievable. Like I said, I keep going on and on. But with him going into state, that was a major accomplishment for him. But he wasn't satisfied. He wanted to win. Very disappointing PR with his personal record, 46-66. And you run a 46-6 in state, you expect to win, but he didn't win. He placed 3rd. But the guys under him, they understand, wow, it could be them too. And this guy did some remarkable things within 3 years. So I have a lot of guys that's coming up behind him, and I'm looking forward for another great season next year.
When you take a look at next year, what do you have, the students you have coming back, the athletes you have coming back, what are your expectations going into next year?
I think we expect to go further. Yeah, we'll obviously lose 2 big seniors, Valerie Parker and Sydney Scott, contributed a lot of points to the team, but we also have, for instance, this year we had 2 sophomores on that state team that were JV last year. So if they continue to work in the off season and buy into the program that we're putting out there, I think we'll be back.
What about next year, Coach Johnson?
Yes, we're only losing 2, Jason Reynolds and Rico Swartz. We have a lot of other young guys that's gonna come back, and they excited. They doing some things during the summertime, and they're gonna do a lot of great things in the fall. My expectation for them is set the standard that the guys before them left, and and everything else gonna take care of itself.
Coaches, a great year for Boyd, making a lot of strides, and I know you're excited about next year. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's our coaches from McKinney Boyd on McKinney ISD Sports Talk. We'll have more coming up in a moment.